Hey guys, welcome to Channel Kids Moral Stories.
Once upon a time in a forest, filled with tall trees that whispered secrets to each other, an owl named Alwyn lived in a cozy nest. She loved to fly silently under the starry night sky, using her big round eyes to hunt for food. Her feathers were soft as silk, and her wings spread wide, casting a shadow on the ground below. In a tiny hole at the base of a tree, a quick and quiet mouse named Max lived. He loved to collect shiny objects and store them in his hidden home. His whiskers twitched with excitement whenever he found something new to add to his collection. One day, a strong wind knocked down a tree, blocking the entrance to Max's home. He tried to push it, but it was too heavy. Alwyn saw Max struggling and flew down to help. She landed softly on a nearby branch, watching Max with curiosity. "Who are you?" Max asked, startled. "I am Alwyn the owl," she replied. "And you are?" "I'm Max the mouse," he said, still trying to push the tree. Alwyn flew down to help. Together they pushed and pulled, but the tree didn't budge. Alwyn had an idea. She used her sharp talons to dig and Max used his tiny teeth to gnaw. Slowly, they moved the tree, and Max's home was free again. Max thanked Alwyn and invited her in. She saw his collection of shiny objects and was amazed. There were sparkling crystals, glittering gemstones, and even a few lost coins. Max showed her his favorite, a sparkling crystal that reflected the light. Alwyn shared her own treasure, a feather from a rare bird that shone like gold in the sunlight. Max gasped in wonder. From that day on, Alwyn and Max became the best of friends. They went on adventures together, exploring the forest and sharing secrets. Max learned to fly with Alwyn's help, sitting on her back as she soared through the skies. Alwyn learned to navigate through tiny space with Max's guidance, discovering hidden corners of the forest. The other animals were surprised to see the unlikely duo together. "An owl and a mouse, friends?" they asked. But Alwyn and Max didn't care. They knew their friendship was special. One night, a big storm came, and Max's home was in danger of flooding. Alwyn quickly flew Max to safety, carrying him in her talons. Max was scared, but Alwyn sang a soft hooting song to calm him down. "When the wind blows strong and loud, and the rain comes pouring down, just close your eyes and hold on tight, for I'll keep you safe through the night." When the storm passed, the animals saw Alwyn and Max huddled together, safe and sound. They realized that even the most unlikely of friends could become the closest of companions. As time went by, Alwyn and Max grew even closer. They explored the forest together, sharing berries and stories. They helped other animals in need, using their unique skills to make a difference. And they lived happily ever after, going on many more adventures together, and showing the world that everyone can get along, no matter how different they may seem. For in the end, it's not what makes us different that matters, but what brings us together.
Once upon a time, in a small village at the edge of a forest, there lived a sweet and gentle girl named Little Red Riding Hood. She was called so because of the bright red cloak she always wore. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother asked her to take a basket of freshly baked cookies to her sick grandmother, who lived in a nearby village. Little Red Riding Hood set off on the journey, walking through the forest path. As she walked, she encountered a sly and cunning Wolf. The Wolf approached her and asked where she was headed. Little Red Riding Hood naively told him about her trip to see her grandmother. The Wolf, with ill intentions, asked her to pick some flowers for her grandmother, and Little Red Riding Hood obliged. Meanwhile, the Wolf quickly ran ahead to grandmother's house. He ate the grandmother and disguised himself as her, waiting for Little Red Riding Hood's arrival. When Little Red Riding Hood arrived, the Wolf disguised as grandmother asked her to come closer. Little Red Riding Hood noticed something strange and said, "Grandmother, what big eyes you have." The Wolf replied, "The better to see you with, my dear." Little Red Riding Hood then said, "Grandmother, what big teeth you have." The Wolf replied, "The better to eat you with." Just then, a brave woodsman appeared at the door and saved Little Red Riding Hood. by cutting open the wolf's stomach with his axe. Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother emerged unharmed. Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother reunited, and the woodsman was hailed as a hero. From then on, Little Red Riding Hood was more cautious on her journeys, but she never lost her kindness and generosity. The story of Little Red Riding Hood teaches children the importance of being aware of their surroundings and the potential dangers of talking to strangers.
Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a kind-hearted farmer named Jack. Every day, Jack worked tirelessly in his fields, growing a variety of vegetables and fruits. Despite his hard work, he always made time to share his harvest with his neighbors, especially those who were in need. One sunny morning, as Jack was tending to his crops, he noticed a small, injured bird lying under a tree. Feeling sorry for the bird, he gently picked it up and took it home. Jack cared for the bird, providing it with food, water, and a safe place to rest. Slowly but surely, the bird regained its strength and began to fly again. A few weeks later, the village faced a terrible drought. The once lush fields began to wither, and the villagers grew increasingly worried about their food supply. Despite their best efforts, the crops were failing, and hope seemed to be slipping away. Just when despair was setting in, the bird that Jack had saved flew away and returned with a flock of birds. These birds carried seeds from distant places and dropped them into the dry fields. To everyone's amazement, new plants began to sprout, and the fields soon turned green again. The villagers were overjoyed and celebrated the unexpected bounty. They thanked Jack for his kindness, realizing that his good deed had brought good fortune to the entire village. Jack, too, was grateful and understood that his act of compassion had created a ripple effect of kindness. The moral of the story is, kindness always comes back to you.
There was a wealthy farmer named Jack who owned a lot of land and grew many crops. He was known for being very stingy and loving money. One day, he found a hidden river on his land, which made his farm even more valuable. But instead of sharing the discovery with his community or using the water to help others, Jack kept it a secret and used the river to grow even more crops, keeping all the profits for himself. As time passed, the river's magic went away, and the land began to dry up. Jack's crops failed, and he lost all his wealth. He realized too late that his greed had cost him everything. The community, who had once respected Jack, rejected him, and he was left alone, surrounded by the ruins of his once thriving farm. He finally understood that true wealth comes from sharing, caring, and taking care of the land and relationships. The story teaches us that greed can lead to loss and that only caring about money can have bad consequences. It shows us the importance of sharing, kindness, and community, and reminds us that true wealth is in the relationships we build and the beauty of nature around us. Jack's story became a warning tale told to many, reminding them of the dangers of greed and the power of kindness.
Once upon a time, in a small garden, there lived a tiny ladybug named Lola. She was always fascinated by the world beyond her home. One day, she decided to embark on an amazing journey to explore new lands, meet new friends, and learn about different cultures. Lola packed a small bag and said goodbye to her family and friends. She set off towards the east, where the sun rose. She met a wise old butterfly named Sam, who taught her about the importance of patience and perseverance. As she continued her journey, Lola encountered a friendly bee named Buzz, who introduced her to the sweet world of honey and flowers. She learned about the busy lives of bees and the value of teamwork. Next, Lola traveled to the west, where she met a colorful bird named Rio. He took her on a thrilling flight over vast oceans and towering mountains. Lola discovered the beauty of diversity and the power of adaptability. Her journey continued south, where she met a gentle tortoise named Tara. Tara taught Lola about the slow and steady approach to life and the importance of appreciating the little things. Finally, Lola arrived in the north, where she met a playful rabbit named Frosty. He showed her the magic of snowflakes and the joy of playfulness. After many moons, Lola returned home, filled with incredible stories and valuable lessons. Her family and friends gathered around, eager to hear about her amazing journey. Lola shared her experiences, inspiring others to explore and appreciate the world's wonders. From that day on, Lola became known as the wisest and most adventurous ladybug in the garden, and her amazing journey was told and retold for generations to come. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe channel for more stories.